Okay. So when you first log into Honey CRM, what you're going to go ahead and see is the marketing dashboard. And the marketing dashboard is kind of going to give you an overview of all the various numbers in regards to lead count and various analytics and activities and KPIs across your various marketing efforts that you're doing. Starting off by how many total leads we have, and these are just contacts that are engaging your marketing or that you yourself or one of your marketers have identified as a lead for your sales professionals. Over here is how many of those leads are unique companies. That's the second tile right there. And then the third tile is going to be overall form submissions. These are really good because these are form submissions throughout your websites or various subdomains and landing pages that you guys have out there, so you can see how they're performing. And then again, overall video views. Those of you guys that have marketing videos and you're using them in marketing, you can kind of get an aggregate total of how many viewers you have. Next, you're going to see the monthly lead quota. The monthly lead quota is going to be determined by you. I'm going to show you later in the account settings how you do that. But essentially, you'll have a number of leads you want to hit per month here. And then again, how many leads you actually generated against that quota on the right. So if you meet your quota, that's great. If you pass 40, in our case, if we go under that, then we didn't hit quota. On the right over here, it's going to do some projections for you. So again, in your account settings, you're going to have some abilities to put some lead conversion ratios that your company should or could hit based on whatever you dictate, or if you don't know or have any idea, we have some national averages that you can leverage just by a click of a button, and then you can kind of see how you should be performing based on the national averages. You're going to see basically based on 87 leads, right? If we're using Tridigital's conversion ratio, then we should have 17 appointments. Out of 17 appointments, we should convert 12 of those into proposals, and out of those 12 proposals, 8 should close. And our average monthly agreement values are worth $7,500. Okay, so if I look at that, there's a potential of $60,000 in new monthly recurring revenue that we could generate if we did close all these opportunities, right? Now, in this case, it's a little bit slated because Tridigital helped out with the marketing for Honey. Over here, you're going to have your website analytics that is an integration with Google Analytics. It's meant to not, Google Analytics can give you a lot of information and can be very cumbersome, right? As a CEO, if you don't know much about marketing or you just don't have the time to look into the details, you're going to get the high-level information, right? At first, how many unique visitors are hitting your website, how many of those are returning, what's your bounce rate like. Then you'll be able to take a look at device sources, and then again, traffic sources. So how much is organic, direct, referral, social, all that kind of stuff. If you ever want more details, into your website analytics, you could always click here, and this hyperlink will take you to your actual application where you can break it down to whatever details you want. Over here on the right, you're going to take a look at the marketing analytics, which is going to be, essentially opening click-throughs on various campaigns, right? So if we did, let me go back to our last newsletter, right? I'm going to say, okay, hey, we had 22 opens, 10 of them were clicks. Here's how many unsubscribes. The amount of recipients, the amount of people that open, the amount of people that click, the amount of people that unsubscribe. So this is an integration with your email service provider. In this case, the one that is currently active is Campaign Monitor, with a couple more on the rise, MailChimp, Constant Contact, etc. that we're putting in there. Oh, we also have HubSpot integrated. So that's another email service provider that you can use if you're a HubSpot user. Down below, this is going to be your form submissions. So Honey has an integration. It's basically a little bit of snippet of JavaScript that you'll be able to add to your guys' web forms and capture all the various forms that come in from your website or your different web properties. So here, it's capturing them all, but you can filter them out by consultation, newsletter, survey, or whatever type of forms you have out there. And you'll go ahead and see their, whatever information they provide. What's really cool, what's going to highlight of the demonstration, which I'll show you guys later, is going to be how Honey scrubs people's email addresses to find more information about them online. It crawls Google and all the various social media accounts and it can pull in things like their picture and their LinkedIn profile and a bunch of other cool stuff. So I'll show you that a little later. But you can go in there and see more information about those leads. If you click on the plus symbol, you'll find out what they're interested in. This person in particular was interested in a job, right? So he got moved over to that list. And then again, the contact I'll be using for the demo purposes is myself, my Gmail address, and then the kind of information that's provided there. Okay, so that's how the form submissions work. Later on, when we get into the contacts and the leads, I'll show you a little bit more in detail how to assign those leads to certain sales professionals within Honey, and how to track that all back and forth, and again, how that works, feeding information up into ConnectWise. The next thing you're going to see is the analytics on your videos, which is essentially an integration we have with Wistia. We're doing one with YouTube to follow, but Wistia is a good video platform for those of you guys wanting to get video SEO and making sure those videos, links that show up organically, take the prospect to your website as opposed to YouTube's website. But anyway, you'll be able to see the engagement rate, the number of plays, which videos are more popular, and all that kind of stuff as it shows up there. So that's your marketing dashboard. That's how that works. Next, we're going to jump into the sales dashboard. The sales dashboard is great. It's going to go ahead and give you some metrics specifically to how your sales professionals are performing. And up top here, you're going to take a look at essentially the unique company leads that are there that we're generating. You saw that on the previous tab. And then how many meetings your team has generated, how many opportunities came out of those meetings, and then how many wins came out of those meetings. And then you're going to have, in total revenue impact, it's going to track 12 months of your revenue, see how well you're doing as far as revenue based on the entire sales profession, all the sales team together contributing sales and making that number calculate in front of you. And then you're going to have your monthly sales quota and revenue of how much net new revenue you should be generating. If you guys are MSPs and doing it off of recurring revenue, it will take whatever the monthly amount is, divided and multiply it by however many months your SLA is. So if it's a 36-month agreement and it's $5K a month, then it'll be, $180,000 what the total value of that agreement is. So that's how that works. Next, you're going to go ahead and see monthly totals on what your actual sales team is doing. How did they do this month? How many meetings have they had? How many calls did they make? How many emails did they send out? How many notes did they add? Right? So what I love about Honey is it kind of empowers it. Honey was designed and built around visibility, right? That was the focus. And visibility to empower not only the business owners that are more technical in mindset, don't have a lot of experience managing salespeople, helping them understand the day of a life of a sales professional and what they do day in and day out, right, for their salary. So you can look at these metrics and kind of get an idea of how they're performing. And I'll show you how Honey gives you really useful notifications to interpret this data and give you advice on, help you make decisions on what to do with it. Right? At the same time, it's designed to give visibility to the sales professional, like some of the automated scrubbing that it does, so that sales professionals feel empowered following up with leads. They have the research in front of them, they have their LinkedIn in front of them, they have a picture to them, they see what they've been interested in, right? So visibility to empower your business, both business owners and sales professionals and marketing professionals. That way, now finally, for the first time, you have your ConnectWise or your Autotask, right, that is giving you visibility on the billable rate, number of tickets closed, the activity of all your engineers, and that's all public in various dashboards or monitors you may have throughout the office. And now you're going to be able to do the same thing with marketing and sales. So the whole team is accountable, working towards your vision and its company goals, and you feel empowered to manage those activities with real data and not just someone's story or whatever they're telling you that day. Over here, you're going to go ahead and see your whole sales team at a view, and it's going to rank them. The ranking system is determined by how much revenue they've generated, right? And in cases in the future, we're calculating for GP and all these different things that we're going to put in there, but it'll look at how much revenue that sales professional has generated, and the ones that generate the most obviously get ranked first, second, and third. But there's a lot of other data here that you're going to be able to look at, and I'm going to show you a little later in more detail in the presentation, so that you can see, again, this guy, great, he sells a lot of business, but why does he sell that much business? What is he doing differently than other sales professionals to get that kind of revenue? And a lot of times, and it's really cool when I show you this a little later in a real world example, guys, because this is TriDigital's real CRM or real data, is it's always revolves around the activity. It always revolves around the activity. No matter how good you are, the gift of gab, yeah, you may have a little less activities than someone else and you convert a little faster because you have more experience. But at the end of the day, if you're not putting in the effort in, you're not getting the sales to close. And you're going to see that in detail, right? So over here, you can see that myself, I have 96 leads. Here's how many activities I've done. I typically do on a monthly basis. And then you can see the number of appointments that I've set, and the number of proposals I have out, and the number of wins I have, and the revenue here on this side. And you can look at everybody else. Down below, you're going to take a look at how your sales team is performing based off of these KPIs that you set early on. So let's just say in this example, right? You set KPIs of 20% of the leads have to turn into appointments, and half of the appointments have to turn into proposals, and half the proposals need to close. So with these gauges, you're going to actually see how you're doing as an organization around those KPIs, and you're going to get notifications if you're performing below any of these thresholds. So you say, hey, as a company, we convert about 30% of all meetings into appointments. As a company, we convert about 70% of those meetings into proposals or opportunities. And then when proposals are out in the open, we close about 88% of those proposals. So this gives you really good metrics on how you're doing as an organization, right? Now over here, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at two sales professionals. I'm going to look at myself, and then we're going to look at Raphael. So I'm going to go here, refresh it real quick, and then here we go. So now you're going to see how many leads were assigned to me specifically, how many meetings I've had all together, how many opportunities came out of that, how many wins, total revenue impact of those, and then again, how I did against my current monthly quota, and how many meetings and everything, calls, all my stats for the month, right? Any other opportunities I have in the pipeline, and then down here, you're going to take a look at how this sales professional, in this case me, how am I performing against what the company's KPIs are, right? So hey, if the company's KPIs are 30, I'm doing really good converting meetings and leads into meetings. Over here, I do a good job converting meetings into opportunities. And over here, a lot of my opportunities, a lot of my proposals end up closing. That's great, right? So okay, hey, I'm going to get I'm in first place for the sales team. I lead the sales team there. Now let's take a look at Raphael, right? Let's take a look at what Raphael is doing. Now Raphael is currently in third place. He has a little bit more leads, less meetings, less opportunities, a little less wins. But when you look at everything all together, while he is hitting his quota, right, his activity level is really low. And if you look at his conversion rates, I'm just going to refresh that here. If you look at his conversion rates, you can see it a little bit better. You're going to see he needs help. If I were to try to help Ralph, even though he's bringing in revenue and he is hitting the quota and all seems fine, as a business owner, I need to look at the strengths and weaknesses of every sales professional I have and say, hey, you know what? Raphael, you're doing great on your close and you're doing great on your opportunities, but over here in your meetings, we need to convert more of those. As a company, we need to convert at least 20% of your leads into meetings, man. And the reason I think this is happening, Ralph, is because your activities, you're not making enough outbound dials, enough emails, you're not doing enough activity to convert those opportunities, right? So I can give them some training there to put a little bit more effort and put a little more activities and track all that. And what's really great about this, guys, is that with some of the automation that we have, we can track a lot of this data without a sales professional ever being logged into the system. And now I'll show you that. It's a pretty cool feature that we have with the Office 365 integration. So this gives us really good insight of how that performs. But I want to show you something very interesting here. So I'm going to go back, and then I'm now going to click on Adrian. Adrian's nipping at the heels, right? He's in second place, and he's really close in revenue with me, about 600K off. Now with Adrian, you're going to see that from the leads he's assigned and all his activities, he's got a lot more activities that he does on a monthly basis. You know what I mean? And he's got, against his quota, he destroys it all the time. The effort relates into how many leads are turning into meetings. It's that simple. He's putting in the effort, putting in the work. He's talented. He's trained. Here he is converting 37% of his meetings into opportunities. His opportunities, whenever he's got a meeting, it goes into, these are leads to meetings. Whenever he's got an appointment, they're well qualified. He gets there, he identifies pain, and 75% of them end up turning into a proposal. And when Adrian goes to close, man, he lays it down so he can close well too. So if you look at that, his activity level is really close to mine. He's putting in the effort, putting in the work, and that reflects that we're two different people with two different backgrounds. What is unique amongst the two of us is we're well trained, and we all are doing the activity. We're actually doing the work. We're justifying the paycheck, right? So that's something really good for you guys to be able to have insight on what each sales professional does every day and learn from that in meetings together so that you guys can shore up and have everybody perform closer to the top person. When that happens, everybody wins. They make more commission, you make more revenue, it's all good. Okay, so that is the sales dashboard. Next, we're going to go into sales pipeline. Now, this is something really cool for you guys to look at. It's going to show you basically a couple different projections and a couple actuals. Actually, one projection and two actuals. So over here, you're going to see possible revenue based off of leads. Well, TriDigital has generated for ourselves 741 leads that are currently in the pipeline. If you take a look at what our close ratios are and how many of those leads, right, net turn into new sales based on the KPIs I put in my account settings, which I'll show you later, if I were to convert these many leads based on my ratio, there's $6 million, nearly $7 million sitting in leads right now. So I can really make a decision to say, hey, you know what? Let's focus on converting these leads. That's what we need to do because that's where the money's at, right? And then I can say, okay, how many of these leads are currently in appointments? Well, we have 46 appointments based off of these leads right now. So we can take a look at them. I can click over to their company, find out a little more about them, their lead temperature, lead score, go over that in a minute, and take a look at who they're assigned to. Next, you're going to see revenue in the pipeline. And the revenue in the pipeline is going to be basically a real calculation of proposals that are currently out with clients and how much they calculate to. So based on the amount of opportunities we currently have, there's $222,000 there in open opportunities. And then how much has been closed, again, taking 12-month totals, this is what you're looking at. It's total revenue won and who won those deals. So that's how your pipeline works. I am a sales admin, so I am looking administratively across the entire team. Your sales professional will look at just their pipeline. And then you guys can share this information at your discretion in overall meetings where you may want to show them how the whole team is performing together. But this will keep them laser focused on their pipeline, their leads, and understanding where they stand and how well they can actually what opportunities they have to actually generate for your revenue for your company and how soon. Okay? So that is the sales pipeline. Over here is leads. So the leads are great. So the leads are going to give you a lot of different information based on this prospect, okay? Based on these prospects. So here you may see someone with the lead score of 15 or a lead score of 2 or a lead score of 19, whatever they are, and you're going to see their temperature. Lead score is calculated two ways inside of Honey CRM, okay? Number one, they're typically, every action a prospect does to show interest in your products or services are going to get a score of 1 point for each action. So let me explain this. You send out an email campaign, right, to a series of prospects that ask them to download a white paper. That download of a white paper, that click on that call to action will give you 1 point on that lead. Okay? Then the other score we can give you that Honey calculates automatically is if someone fills out one of your web forms for a consultation. So they fill out a form requesting a consultation, they'll get 5 points for those because that's a little bit of a stronger lead, right? They have an active need right now. The next thing it does is, based on the scoring system, right, if you guys are doing marketing on a regular basis, the count's going to go up. And that is going to affect the overall lead temperature. So the lead temperature works like this. Any lead that has been active in the last 30 days and has a lead score of 1 to 4 will be a warm lead, as you see right here, the little sun icon. Any lead that has a score of 5 or higher and has been active in the past 30 days will get a hot icon or a little flame icon. And then you'll get other leads here, which I don't have any in this view, but oh yeah, here we do. Here we go. So we have another lead here that has a lead score of 1, or this one a lead score of 19. Any single prospect that has not been active in the last 30 days across any year of marketing, regardless of lead score, will get a cold temperature. Whenever they reactivate again, they'll be brought back to their temperature based on whatever the lead score is. But what this is designed to do is help your sales professionals prioritize, right? The low-hanging fruit, the hottest leads, those with the highest lead score, and start prioritizing their call-down efforts to convert those. That way, they're organized, they feel more confident about what they're doing, and they can go ahead and start closing business for you. In the various lead score, you're going to see a lot of information here. So you're going to see in this case, this is what these are the different campaigns that this person was interested in and what they actually clicked on. So all these star icons kind of show you all the various things these people, this specific prospect has been doing. Okay, and inside of a list view, you're going to go ahead and see various information about them. You have a link to go in their profile page. I'll show you that in a minute. Their company, their LinkedIn profile, so you can hop over to LinkedIn real quick. I'll show you how that works. And go ahead and find out more information about them, and their company. So you guys can go ahead and take a look at that, do your research more quickly than you could before, and then start following up with these prospects more aggressively, right? Or with more knowledge. So that's how that works there. And then you can sort any of these fields however you want. If you want to sort them by lead temperature, by default, it's sorted by date of last lead action, so you know who is the latest lead to come in, and you can make it work that way. You can go ahead and assign leads. If I wanted to go ahead and execute a bulk action, for instance, and I want to say, hey, I want to take these 3 leads here, this person, and I don't know, this person, and assign them to, I want to assign them to me or whoever else. I can do that, right? I can select them all and assign them all to someone else. They're going to get notified that they have a net new lead. I'm going to show you the notifications in a minute. They're going to get notified they have a new lead. Actually, I can jump over and show you that right now. It's like, hey, you got leads. And I'm going to say, hey, this person has been assigned to you. Go get them. And you have all that jazz, so that they always know. Sales professionals in or out of the system will always be aware when a new lead comes in, what they're doing. Likely, if the lead's already been assigned and that lead has done something, that lead has executed some sort of action, they'll be notified as well about whatever action they've done. This person just engaged this campaign. This person just did that. So you can more promptly, again, at the moment they do things, you can go ahead and follow up more aggressively and say, hey, he just did this. I want to call them now while I'm top of mind for that prospect. Okay? So that's how the leads work, and you can filter them all out, and that's how they'll show up here. Next, you're going to have your contact list. I'm going to close out some of these windows to keep things organized. Your contact list. Your contact lists are just like, any marketing list you may want to break down however you want. You may have an overall global list. You may have people across various lists. As you start to get, now that Honey's going to give you a lot more data and you're going to have a lot more information about that lead and their company and their size and all that kind of stuff, you can start creating your new lists and start segmenting these lists out, so that you can more quickly identify where they came from and what's your priority on following up with them. This checkbox here is very important, right? It's called leads. So you go, okay, hey, leads, are these prospects in this list leads or not? And you will say, yes, they are leads. Okay, great. So if they're marked as leads, then whenever you do a marketing campaign and those people take action on those campaigns, they'll show up in the people's lead queue. They'll show up in the company's lead queue. Another thing you can do, right? Because if you just upload a list by default, it's going to give it a score of 0. So they won't show up as leads right away when you upload a list unless they execute a lead action. The way around that is you can upload a list just by drag and dropping an Excel file here. And you can name your list first, and I'll just name this for you guys. Just do this real quick. It's a test list, and I want to update Honey's contacts with the information on this list or not. I do want to consider them leads. Okay. Next. Then I just drag and drop a file. Those of you that don't know what format to do it in, there's a handy sample list right here that kind of contains all the different fields within Honey. But in this sample list, there's space for a lead score. So you can do an event. Like, let's just say you did a lunch and learn, and you had 10 people come in and you started talking to them about cybersecurity. All those that registered, maybe you give them a lead score of 2 or 3 or whatever you want to give them because they registered and they showed some interest. But the people that showed up, maybe you want to give them a lead score of 10. That's up to your marketing department or the admin around this account to say, I think these leads are worth this value. You insert that value, and that value gets inputted into Honey so that your sales team knows, okay, hey, from the top down, oh gosh, the boss scored these leads at 100. I need to call them right now, okay? And you can make it work that way. So you have some freedom there. So again, that's how lead lists work. If you want certain prospects to get campaigns, or you may have a list of existing clients where maybe you want them to get your newsletter, or you want them to have your email marketing campaigns or be invited to events or whatever it is, right? But you don't want them to show up in your lead queue. That's why, going back to the lists, there's that checkbox in the beginning. So if they're unchecked, that doesn't mean they're excluded from the marketing campaigns. They can still get marketing campaigns out, and you can send it out to everybody. It just means that when they download stuff or click call to actions or do things in response to those campaigns, they're not going to be counted back in the lead queue. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's how the lists work. Now, here's where it gets crazy, okay? Let's go into contacts. All right. So here's a list of contacts that are in here. Some of these contacts, like I said, are not tagged as leads either because they're not part of a lead list, or they're not assigned to anybody, or they have no lead scores, various things. And we have a knowledge center here that'll kind of help you understand that a little bit more. But you'll get an idea of who all the various contacts are in your entire database. Okay, and those are my 100, and you can assign them to different lists, and you can do things there later. But now you want to go ahead and add a new contact. For all of you that know salespeople, data entry is kryptonite to them. Okay, that's how they just run for the door. It's impossible. We have all these things. If it's not in ConnectWise, it doesn't exist. If all this stuff, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? Well, now we can track actually what they're doing. So they're gonna be, have to get on their game a little bit more. But for people that don't like entering data, what if entering data could be fun? What if it could empower you to learn more about our prospects? Check this out. All we ask in this field right here is for you to enter just their email address. So once I do that, Honey's off to work. Look what it did. It found his LinkedIn profile for Eric. And Eric, I know you're watching. Sorry. I'm just giving away all your information. His first name, last name, his bio is entered here. We can't get the phone number, that's illegal, but the whole bio that's there is public on social media. His title, his LinkedIn profile, everything is in here, right? Any data that's missing, I just enter in the phone number, and then I go next. What's cool is right after this, it's going to now scrub the domain and find information about the company, right? So I'm going to go here and click next. Look what it did. It found their logo, found their company name, it found their description, it found their website, the approximate employee count, and their LinkedIn profile, right? And I can enter in all this other various data that's missing, and then I can go ahead and create that contact. Then I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, hey, what kind of contact is he? I'm going to add him to my consultation list. I'm going to click finish, and it's going to take me right to him. There he is. Look, Honey entered its first note for you. And you're going to go ahead and say, hey, okay, this is his bio. This is all the information. I have all his social media roles. Wow, he's a vice president, chief information officer. He is the decision maker. Here's the information about the company. He's part of my consultation list. I'm going to assign it to myself. So this is a lead I want to work with. I'm going to get notified for that in a minute. And now I have a lot more ammunition, a lot more information without a lot of effort on how to follow up with this prospect. And then I can come in here and add various activities. I can add a call activity. I can add a note. I can add emails or meetings. But what's going to be great is what I'm going to show you is with the Office 365 integration, there's no need to do this anymore and no need to do that anymore. Soon, our vision is to have, VoIP integration where the phone calls will be automatic and then it'll be fully entryless, right? So that's how that works. And then you can go ahead and enter in an opportunity for this person and say, hey, I want to sell Eric, I don't know, let's see here, legacy services, and I want to charge him $1 million a month. And it's per month, and it's for 100 months. Right? And I can go ahead and save that deal, and it's going to explode the database. But the thing is, you can enter an opportunity just like that easily, and all this information will be inside of ConnectWise. So now that we're back into prospects and contacts and all this kind of stuff, Honey has an integration with your PSA. It has an integration with Autotask, has an integration with ConnectWise. It has integrations with other CRMs that are coming down the fold, Salesforce and others. We have a one-way sync and a two-way sync option. When it's in two-way sync option, anything you do in Honey, it's as if you're doing it in ConnectWise, right? Going back here, I'm going to cancel this out and going back to activities. You do an email activity, it's going to record an email activity in ConnectWise. You do a call activity, it's going to record a call activity. A meeting activity, all those activities are in sync. So that again, your database in ConnectWise, for those of your engineers that are using it, because that's more of the service delivery tool, all the data is perfectly integrated, perfectly in sync that way. Okay, so you can capture all this detail and not have to be migrating or jumping back and forth between two systems. Same with the opportunities. So okay, hey, in the opportunities, and again, we're working on more stuff with Quozo integrations down the line, but in the meantime, you want to enter in an opportunity here real quick. The gist of it, when you actually go and your sales engineer, whoever does your quotes, does it in more detail inside of ConnectWise, it syncs back here the same way, and it keeps it updated. So whenever deals are marked one or whatever else, it's marking the one revenue and marking the opportunities done in both places. That's how that integration works. So it's pretty cool. Next, let's go into, let me show you how the Office 365 integration works. So these are activities, and I want to show you. This is pretty cool. So, okay, hey, this is Gio. I submitted a form submission. I went ahead and made a follow-up call. Now look at this. I went ahead and just sent him an email from the Outlook application right on my phone. And I said, hey, just called, left you a voicemail, whatever out, shoot me a few times to work for you next week for your appointment, right? And then I said, hey, you look exactly like me. There's a little emoji. So he replies, prospect replies, different icon. Hey, Gio, thanks for getting back to me at 9:30 at night. What's wrong with you? Right? Little raised eyebrow, chalking it up. I could talk to you at 9. So then here's all the threads back and forth. I replied to him. There it's captured. Here back and forth. And guess what? After it's all done, he said, yes, I can talk next Friday at 9 a.m. I said 9 a.m. works. I sent him the calendar invite for 9 a.m. and he confirmed it. Just like that. 2/3 of my overall activity are inside of Honey automatically, never had to log in to do it. So no matter where they're at, you're constantly getting the data put in here in a fun, easy way that you can use. And again, visibility across the organization so that you know every single effort your sales professionals are doing to follow up with leads and how you guys can act upon some of this information that's going back and forth. That's how that works. And then again here, I went ahead and saw the opportunity that I set for myself and marked that as one. And that's just a sample, right? So let me show you this. Whenever you have an opportunity that comes in, you create a new opportunity with somebody. What's going to happen is a little wind wire is going to get sent out to everyone that's inside of Honey, every user inside of Honey. It's like a wind wire that you can publish, on your monitors and say, hey, look, a new opportunity was created. You're in the red zone. And that's cool, just kind of cheering somebody on that someone's almost at the close. Who is the person that created the opportunity and who is it with? And people can go in there and check it out. And then, hey, the opportunity closed. Congratulations. Bam. Wind wire sent to everybody else. So you guys can check it out as well. It's pretty cool. So all the various things you need to do, all the positive things that go into Honey in regards to the positive things that are a part of Honey, where people are closing deals and people are hitting quota and people are hitting lead quotas and all that kind of stuff. You're going to get notified throughout the way. And then there's also going to be notifications on a one-to-one and escalated basis when we identify little problems or we identify things that, for whatever reason, are not working out well. A sales professional is falling below threshold, not following up with leads. We're not making enough calls, all these kind of things. Those type of reports get sent to that person if they're performing below threshold, and there's some, it'll help them identify what's wrong. It'll also escalate to the managers and the admins in here to identify that so that you guys can talk through some of those issues, right? And provide training very specifically to where they need help. So let me show you kind of how that works, right? It's Monday morning, you're dealing with all the technology problems, you're more of a technical mindset. All of a sudden, you get in, you want to start your week, and you're fired up, and you get this report, because it's going to come every Monday, and you'd be like, hey, okay, weekly sales report. What happened? Well, we scheduled 22 meetings last week, we made 63 calls, we sent out a bunch of emails to everybody, because people communicate a lot through emails and say, no new deals in the pipeline, or no new one revenue, but hey, I got to glance at some of the information, right? Then you may get another notification because there are leads that are not being followed up with. I know if you guys get digital hand raise right now, there's a bunch of you right now dealing with this problem. You guys have sales professionals that are not following up with leads, and you know it, right? And they're just like, oh, I'm doing it. I just didn't enter in ConnectWise because ConnectWise is a pain or whatever it is. Get it. But now you can go ahead and see who hasn't followed up with leads. These are leads that have not been followed up with in the last 7 days. So there's little things like, hey, someone's inactive, and it kind of shows how many leads, right? We talked about Ralph a little earlier. He's got to call some of these opportunities, right? The leads that he's not following up with, or whoever's not following up with leads. So we can start having a conversation about why these leads weren't touched or whatever's going on. Then over here, the sales professional got the same notification. So when you guys go to have a talk about it, it's not going to be news to them. They'll also know, hey, these leads have not been followed up with. And you guys can talk about why that's happening or where they're spending time doing other non-sales related activity because, it's just a small business. They wear a lot of hats, right? But the better you are at identifying things and the more you have visibility on money that's being left on the table or opportunities that are turning cold, the better you can be at making better decisions that result in positive revenue for your organization. So that is how the notification system works, and there's a bunch more to show you, but I won't go into detail on those right now. On the companies page will show you a lot of information about companies. In this case, I don't know. I don't want to show anybody's very specific data. So what I'll do is I'll just do, I pick on Eric all the time. It's bad. An SPC, but they're friends of ours. So they help all of our clients out with sales training and do a free sales kickoff. It's great. But anyway, you can see more information about their company here, any opportunities going on with the organization in general, and anyone in that organization will show up here, and you guys can assign more people to it. And then again, if we ever need to update it, you could just update these people at any time and make that work, just like that. So that's the company's view. And now the sales team view. In your sales meetings, right, we talked about that. What are the activities on a monthly basis that your top performers are doing, right? Take a look at Adrian and I, right? I do a little bit more emails. He does a little bit more calls. We do notes. These are our activities. We're right there. A couple demographics on you know, you can look at the LinkedIn profile, where we come from, how many years of sales we have, age, all that kind of stuff, and how that all relates, right? So as you start looking at other people that are performing, as you know, engineers don't like to talk to anybody, and Bill, our good old software architect, will never call you no matter what. Okay, he made sure of that. It's his personal mission. He's proud of that stat. So here's all the information here. So again, you can take a look at the all the sales professionals at a glance, and understand, you know, how to look at the numbers and get everybody start acting in kind, and kind of set company benchmarks, company thresholds on what the activities need to look like on a monthly basis. Next is going to be your account settings. Okay, so here these are things where you can update your logo. This is where your monthly KPIs are going to be, right? This is our KPIs. But if those of you that don't know how to do that when you first get set up and you're part of the onboarding process, I have to thank Bobby for this. He gave us an ability to go ahead and he said, hey, you know, I don't know what to do, what the numbers are. I don't know, you know. If you give me a guideline, that's good. So if you just press this button, it'll convert all these statistics for you automatically to what the national averages are. And at least you can start from there. And as you get real data, you can start making adjustments to what's real for you. And then you can set individual revenue quotas on a monthly basis for each person in your sales team. That's how that works. Next, your guys' billing. I don't want to show any of the billing details there, but you'll be able to go ahead and manage. Everybody's going to get a free 30-day trial of Honey today, and you're not going to be asked to enter your credit card or anything. But if you ever want to keep Honey past the 30 days, you'll go here, you're entering your billing details, and it'll kind of let you know what your billing looks like. And it's kind of just done and updated dynamically based on the number of users and contacts that are in here. Inviting a user, this is very easy. You can go ahead and just send an invite to whoever you want to be in Honey, make sure the invite goes out, and assign them their role, and make sure the invite goes out, and that's how it works. On the integration side, you're going to go ahead and say, hey, okay, I want to integrate HubSpot or Campaign Monitor or Office 365 or Google Analytics. It's very simple. You guys will just look at the prompts. Just give it a sec. And you can go back into all the various steps. It guides you step by step on everything you need to do. Test the integration, gives you a thumbs up, and then you're good to go. Okay, and then you'll be able to go back and look into your profile and have all the integrations that you like and that you need. So, guys, kind of just went there at a rapid pace, but that is Honey in a nutshell. So what I want to do now is open up the floor to you guys. If you guys are watching in YouTube right now, if you're on YouTube, you can use the chat system there to ask questions. If you're on Honey's live stream page, there's a little icon at the bottom right hand corner, which is a chat. You guys can open that up right now, ask your questions, and I'm going to answer them now live to the best of my ability. Okay? And then we'll reach out to you guys one-on-one, because this will actually create a ticket, and then we can follow up and give you more details on it. If it's something that we can't do on this demo. So I would like to take the time now to go ahead and start getting your questions. Bill,
Okay,
what do we got?
One question coming in is, can you demo how you would set up a campaign along with all the actions required for the campaign?
Okay, so as regards to setting up a campaign, that I can't demo here, because it'd be based off of whatever your email service provider is. Currently, executing campaigns inside of Honey is not a current feature. It is on the roadmap. We're trying to build that all out. But right now, what we do is we integrate with your current service provider. So if you're using HubSpot or using Campaign Monitor or MailChimp or Constant Contact, you guys will be able to perform those integrations and execute a campaign straight through there. All the lists you have in here will sync with the list of your email service provider. So you can go ahead and send emails out and it'll record it all through here.
Next one. I'm an Autotask user and have set up a trial with you guys. Let's see. The instructions state I need to set up a resource in Autotask. Won't that result in an additional user in Autotask that will cost me? No.
Okay, so the question was that one of the current people that are taking a trial right now has tried to set up the Autotask integration, and the instructions say that you need an additional resource in order to make the integration work. So the question was, does that mean I have to pay for another seat or another license of Autotask in order to make this integration work? The answer is no. Bill, would you like to elaborate?
Okay, yeah, so for the most part in the Autotask integration, it requires you to assign certain things to a particular user. So that's why we end up needing a user for you to set up. But that does not have to be a new user.
Yep.
Next
there
question.
You have it.
Do you have integration with Kaseya's PSA BMS?
Currently, we do not. That's a great request, though. So we'll tag that as an integration or a roadmap, publish it. Again, based off of the amount of votes that those type of PSAs and those systems need, we will prioritize and get it done. And we will communicate with you guys, and I'll go back here. We'll communicate when that is ever done or whenever we have new updates via this handy-dandy messenger. You get a little icon there. You'll click it, and it'll kind of tell you what are the new updates that we've done and all that stuff. So it's kind of dynamic every time you log in.
All right. Next one. Sorry, I may have missed this, but how do you reconcile the contacts and the lists if you delete the list because they are not a fit? Will they be removed from the list automatically? Hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you're reconciling contacts and lists, essentially what you have to do is if you delete a contact straight out of here, they're gone from any list. Okay? So that's going to be based on your preferences. We have some documentation of what you want to do to move people around. Like for instance, spam's going to come through. They're just going to come through. You're just going to email somebody. They're going to try to sell you something. Someone's just going to go to your website and fill out a form and try to sell you God knows what, right? You most likely may want to delete those, but maybe you don't. Maybe you want to create a new list and call it spam. And then what you'll do is you're going to go ahead and add that contact to that list via a bulk action. So I'll kind of show you how that's done. Okay, you'll come here, and for instance, under the marketing, I'll just do it this because it loads the fastest, and it's already loaded. But here, in this case, what I ended up doing was I selected this person, and then I went ahead and marked them into, I believe, job applicant. Yes, I added them to that list. So if I go back into my lists, right? I go into job applicants, click it, and there he is. So that's how he's in there. Now, if people are in multiple lists, going back to the contact profile, you may want to go ahead and either add him to another list by clicking here. Like let's say I wanted to go ahead and add him to the IT Nation Ideal list. I add that, or I remove it. If I want to remove a list that he's tagged, then I just do it here on the contact profile page. So there's a couple different ways you can move lists around or bulk action delete them all together. But if you delete a contact altogether, they will not be in any list. So hopefully that answers your question.
Next question. Will there be an integration with Emma email marketing?
Ooh, Emma. Well, you know what? We kind of built that out before. We have a dormant integration with that. But yeah, definitely put that on the roadmap. Let's get Emma in there.
How are calls tracked in Honey? Do you have to use a VoIP phone, or does the user enter in information whenever they place a call?
So we do want the whole thing to eventually be, the vision is for it to be entry list the whole time, but you can always manually enter any type of note. Like right here, I called the person, so you just be like, hey, I called and left a VM voicemail, right? And I go ahead and add it. What's cool about this is a rich text editor, so you can add links and bullets and bold things or drag and drop files. It's great. So I add it in here, add the activity, and right there it just showed up. So that's an activity that I went ahead and added, and then I want to go ahead and delete that activity. I can do that. So you can always add activities manually or automated via the integrations.
Are all the integrations part of the base per user fee?
Yes, it is. There is no additional charge for any integrations. TriDigital's pricing model, Honey's pricing model is designed to just, I don't want to nitpick features. You guys get all the features. That's just it. That's part of it. You have a base fee, and then you pay a little bit more for how many contacts or how many users are using.
Next one. When talking about revenue totals, is it the length of the contract or is it the 12 months of revenue that I'm seeing?
Right now, it'll be the length of the contract via the past 12 months. We are taking that, enhancing it to be a little bit more customizable so that you can only look at 12 months of revenue, and then you can only look at, GP if you wanted to. That impact number is going to be customizable via your settings. Next.
Okay. Next one. Are any of the pipeline customizable to reflect individual companies and sales cycles?
To reflect individual companies and sales cycles. I probably need, if you don't mind, the user that asked that question, if the pipeline is customizable, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Of course, different companies have different sales cycles, right? And we do count how long proposals are out there, and you can kind of track, and it has like a counter of how long a proposal is currently out there. But, in regards to like drilling down the pipeline to show certain things, what I can tell you is that on every page, what's an aggressive part of our roadmap here is aggressive filtering on each page, not only your contacts, your leads, everything. So if you want to look at your pipeline and filter for a very certain type of thing, opportunities that are only 100 users plus, or only managed services or only project, you'll be able to filter all those various type of opportunities via some of the updates we're doing in our roadmap.
The elaboration is, can you add more stages to the pipeline, more than the 4 that we saw?
Currently, no. So the question was, can we add more stages to the pipeline? Currently, no. However, good feature request. Please add that. One of the things I want you guys to understand, TriDigital helped Honey build this product. This was based off all the feedback of us working, not only our extensive experience as an MSP, working with MSPs and consulting MSPs, but also doing all the marketing for them. All of our clients, we would talk about sales and talk about all these things, and we took all that feedback and turned it into this product. So it's really something defined by the needs of our customers. So if you guys keep giving us feedback like that, we can definitely add it to the roadmap, do a development schedule, and let you know when you might expect that.
All right. From one of our clients, so for existing customers, is this an add-on or is it included now?
For TriDigital existing customers, TriDigital is paying the bill. So there is no additional cost if you're an active client.
Wink, wink. All
yes.
Right. That's actually pretty good.
There's 2 more on the YouTube site.
Oh, did I?
Is email integration available on-premise for on-premise Exchange, or is it restricted to Office 365 only?
Great question. Is email integration available for on-premise Exchange? The answer is yes. It's not only Office 365, on-premise Exchange will work too.
Yeah, pretty much anything that has journaling can do it.
Yeah, basically any email provider that has journaling can do it. But we'll give you specifics on that via the integrations documents.
Will we have the ability to link multiple email campaigns, i.e. Campaign Monitor and Constant Contact, and be able to use the same list and lead scores?
So the question is, do we have the ability to integrate multiple email service providers? I don't know that, so I'm going to ask Bill.
Yeah, so there's there's no problem with linking multiple email marketing platforms. All it's going to end up doing is just, let's say that you have a two-way sync with Campaign Monitor, Emma, and Constant Contact. All of those lists are then going to sync up. All of the data across all the campaigns will end up flowing into Honey. You'll be able to see all of them. It does matching based off of email address. So let's say that someone clicks on a campaign in Campaign Monitor, you'll receive that activity in the same contact that you would with campaigns from your other platforms.
Yep.
The last one on here, is there a contact form call to action that brings contacts into the CRM and allows me to interact and lead nurture with email campaign?
A contact form call to action. Yes, we do have a contact form integration. Absolutely. So it's over here. I'm going to actually pull it up so you guys can look at it. So I'm going to go into the settings. Account, yeah. Go to the integrations. This is the form integration. So any contact form that's there, it'll be captured, put in your contact form module, in the leads, everything else. So you can add that to as many call to actions on as many forms as you like. That's also included.
That's pretty good.
Is that it? All right, guys, that's all the questions that we have. I want to thank you very much for sitting in on this demo. We're really, really excited and nervous. You know, a lot of guys are putting in a ton of hours here to make it work. Big thank you to our clients for giving us all the information, the feedback that helped make this product possible. And again, you know, this is something we're really passionate about. We really think that can provide your organization a lot of impact, a lot of empowerment and visibility on sales and marketing. So we encourage you to take the 30-day free trial. There is no credit card enter in right away. Play around with it. Go into the support. Give us feedback. And you know, help us continue to make the product better, right? Feedback's what got us here. Feedback's what's going to help us make it better. Appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. One last thing I would like you guys to do for me is go to honeycrm.com/feedback. Let me know your initial impressions, please, of Honey. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys think of its potential? What are some potential feature requests that